inside there? Okay, curl it up. Ready to see you pull him around. And do you mind pulling him around? I'm going to put your fingers in there. So I like to use Lycra. Lycra's great. Lycra gives it squeezes back. So as you push, it pushes back. It's awesome. I like to suspend it from the ceiling, but it doesn't have to be like that. For instance, I just got, see if you can drag him down there, dude. I just got my little guy in the Lycra, and it's just a sheet. And it could be a bed sheet if you don't have Lycra. So Willie's getting a lot of deep squeeze, and Reggie's getting a lot of heavy work, all right? And if it's, you know, maybe I have 2 sheets and I'm pulling them both. And I'm just able to drag them back and forth. And, you know, right now they're a little excited because they're on TV and, you know, they're on the spot. But normally this is a fun activity, and when usually the little guy, when he's in that Lycra, he just kind of calms right down. It's pretty cool. So kind of doing it now. Cool. So that's getting a lot of prop. This is again getting some tactile. I would, you know, if you can, get their shoes off, and if they're inside, like if you're doing some deep squeezes, or even if I have the big heavy pillows in them, squishing them under there, take their shirt, get as much skin contact with the fabric or the texture as much as possible. That helps with getting that tactile input. All right, freeze. Good job, guys. Hop on there. All right. Another way to get good. Is it working? Another way to get good proprioception is traction. Traction is just hanging from stuff. So let's see. Here you go, guys. Let's put Willie on that one. Put Reggie on that one. Please don't run into each other.
Can we run into each other?
No, do not run into each other, please. Good. So you'll see a lot of kids at the playground kind of seek this one out. Because when I'm pulling, I'm hanging, I'm getting a lot of that input through my joints, my shoulder joints and my wrist joints and my fingers. And it's a great way to get input.
This is a Lego.
Yeah, use your Lego hands. Yeah, if you can, cue them this way. So you'll see a lot of kids kind of hold the. You see a lot of kids kind of hold the rod this way. If you can, cue them that way, right? Because then I'm working on some grip strength as well.
So the C shape is more effective than a thumb over.
Correct. I mean, so you're building that web space grip, right? So a lot of our kids kind of have a low thumb. Well, then this is why we have Max. Are you okay?
Yeah.
All right. They're a little bit more safety conscious than this, but right. So if I'm holding it this way, it's not as hard. And if I can cue my kids that way, great. That's why I'll try to have ropes or something where they have to hang on like that, vertical as opposed to horizontal. If that makes sense. Okay. So our energy's kind of coming low. I'm kind of reading their energy, so I'm gonna move on to some oral motor stuff. Are you okay? You can just take a minute. Yeah, I'm gonna hang on there for a second. All right. So oral motor. Oral motor is an awesome. I'm gonna have you guys back up a little bit. Willie, I'm gonna have to take that down. All right. Can you guys see over there?
Yeah, we can.
All right. So come on over here, Willie. This one's yours.
Oh, you blow on it. You blow in it.
So this one's yours.
Yeah.
So this is just a jug of soapy water, and I have it in a 5-gallon water jug. I've used a milk jug. It doesn't really matter. Or it could just be a bowl, and it's just soap and water. Oral motor is a great way to work to help with regulation as they're getting a lot of input into their mouth. I'm working on pursed lip breathing. Right? I'm working on lip seal. I'm working on diaphragmatic breathing. I'm working on strengthening my diaphragm. Works on core. I'm working on strengthening my eyes. Sorry. I forgot we're talking about a sensory diet. I start to dive deep. So this is a really good calm down activity, doing some oral motor stuff. When you hear that hum, they start doing that hum. That's like extra input. So that's pretty cool. This is easy to make. You can make this, like I said, out of a straw and a bowl of water. If you want to make it really cool, you can put some food color in it and make it a volcano,